my first year of rabbinical school, studying in Jerusalem, one of my favorite classmates was Peter Berg, who is wise and modest and funny. And he brought all of that to the Torah study table this morning. It was a delight to be able to learn with him and from him again. When Rabbi Sam Kay was just becoming a rabbi, I was lucky enough to be listed as a reference for him. Rabbi Peter Berg called me and said, "So tell me about Sam." And it was my pleasure to tell him all of the strengths and all of the gifts that the new Rabbi Kay would bring to Atlanta. Fast forward, before we even had a chance to post the position for a new associate rabbi at Holy Blossom Temple, the phone rang, and it was my old friend, Rabbi Peter Berg, calling to say, "Word on the street is you're going to have a position open soon, and I want you to know that Rabbi Sam Kay wants to be with you again." You remember when he was with us as a student rabbi for a summer internship. And then it was the inverse conversation. Rabbi Berg went on to praise Rabbi Kay's gifts and to tell me how he had blossomed into an excellent rabbi. And so there was no question who would be our guest rabbi on the Shabbat of Rabbi Kay's installation. Rabbi Peter Berg holds the Lynn and Howard Halpern Senior Rabbinic Chair of our sister congregation, the Temple in Atlanta, Georgia. An advocate for social change, Rabbi Berg has led initiatives to combat poverty and homelessness, human trafficking of minors, mass incarceration, hate crimes, and anti-Semitism. He has devoted himself to criminal justice reform, civil rights, religious freedom, gun safety, and strengthening the U.S.-Israel relationship. Rabbi Berg is the immediate past president of the Atlanta Rabbinical Association and serves as a chaplain for the Georgia State Patrol. In 2013, Rabbi Berg was named by Newsweek and the Daily Beast as one of the top 50 most influential rabbis in the United States. In 2016, he was named by Georgia Trend as one of the 100 most influential Georgians, and in 2019 and 2020 as one of Atlanta's most powerful leaders. So it is my pleasure, my honor, my delight to invite Rabbi Berg to come and teach more of his Torah.
Thank you, Rabbi Spolansky. We did have a lot of fun together our first year in Jerusalem, and it's great to be here. I've heard Rabbi Kay and Taylor talk a lot about Canada, and they're right, it's really great here. I want to begin, Charlotte, by saying Mazel Tov to you. You were extraordinary today, and it was such an honor and a personal privilege to learn from you today. Thank you so very much. I am so happy to be here this morning with my good friend and teacher, Rabbi Sam Kay, along with Taylor and Selah, and with their entire family, with Rabbi Spolansky and Cantor Rosen, and Rabbi McCarroll and Cantor Rivers and Cantor Meisner, with the distinguished leadership of Holy Blossom Temple, including many friends of mine who are here, who are leaders here for a long time, Mark Anshan and Carol Sterling, and so many others. This is truly a historic congregation, and I feel in many ways sister congregation, as Rabbi Spolansky said. This is such a treasure in the Reform movement, and that's why it's so exciting for me to see the shidduch between you and Rabbi Kay. So Rabbi Sam Kay spent his first years as a rabbi, as the associate rabbi of the temple in Atlanta. So one of my primary jobs this morning is to extend congratulations from our temple family in Atlanta, and to say to every single person who is gathered here this morning, welcome now to the Sam K fan club and get in line. Like the confirmand who pulled me aside last year to say, the best days of our 10th grade confirmation program were the ones where Rabbi K would talk about God, she said. He treated us like grown-ups, and he talked to us on the highest possible level. She said, I really, really loved that. Or the congregant who called me during Rabbi K's, I think it was the second week on the job, and asked me to officiate at the funeral for a member of the family. And I was out of town, and I mentioned that our new rabbi was going to do a great job. The congregant said, but I don't want the new rabbi. And I said, trust me, you'll love him, and he's the only one in town. After the funeral, I received this voicemail. Rabbi Berg, so glad you were out of town. Rabbi K was extraordinary. And what I can say about your new rabbi is that his tenure will continue to shape and inspire our congregation for many, many decades still to come. How we think about prayer, how we welcome interfaith families into the fold, how we teach a page of Talmud, how we engage young professionals in Jewish life, how we can talk about and have a relationship, a sophisticated relationship with God, how a rabbi is compelled to have an environmental ethic, how we need to relieve oppressive medical debt, how the power of a trip to Israel can benefit and strengthen the identity of young adults, how to help settle Afghan and Ukrainian families, how we harness our own power and skills to fix and repair our broken world. And most importantly, how the perfect cup of espresso can make the difference between a fine day and a perfect day. When Rabbi K left the temple in Atlanta, we sent him off with 2 gifts. We sent him first with a full set of the Talmud, and second with a very high-class coffee machine. Rabbi, I hope these 2 will be the 2 things that you need to be successful here at Holy Blossom Temple. They're the only 2 things any rabbi really needs. At the temple, there are innumerable people, kids and seniors, Torah students and social activists, spiritual seekers and lovers of Israel who proudly say, Sam K is my rabbi. And now this beautiful congregation, you can count yourselves newly blessed as well. Rabbi K comes to you with a curriculum vitae as diverse as has ever graced this extraordinary pulpit. Scholar, absolutely. Many of you have already experienced Rabbi K as one of the greatest teachers, and he is one of the greatest teachers I have learned with. He uses high intellect to rationalize into words what all of us feel but are often inadequate to enunciate. And you may not know this, but you hired the only rabbi that I know of in our Reform movement who knows without looking it up the variance between the policies of Antiochus IV Epiphanes on the Pharisees' reinterpretation of chapter 3 of the book of Daniel and the contemporary interpretation by the Alexandrian Jews. But he's not just a scholar. He's a bartender and an expert in all things related to board games. So your rabbi knows how to build consensus. He knows how to ask the right questions. He knows how to have fun. And it's always rooted in our text and rooted deeply in our Jewish tradition. He has a wonderful sense of humor and a calming influence on all who get to know him and love him. It's very difficult to say goodbye to a friend and a partner with whom I have shared so much, whose ability to laugh I depended upon every single day, whose kindness I cherished, whose counsel I treasured, whose wisdom inspired me, and whose integrity I trusted above all. Today I feel blessed to see how you have welcomed Rabbi K into your home and into your heart at Holy Blossom. As you welcome Sam, you also welcome his beautiful family, his wife Taylor, Erev Rav, who is a teacher of Torah in her own right and was such a blessing on our bima, as Rabbi Spolansky said, 2 for 1. A blessing to us whose creativity and intellect was a blessing every day, not to mention her gorgeous voice. And to Sela, who was born in the midst of COVID and now is a rock star singing Chiri Bim, Chiri Bam from all corners of the synagogue. One of my favorite stories from our tradition is the story of Rabbi Nathan Finkel, who lived towards the end of the 19th century. He headed the great yeshiva in Lithuania. And on a cold, dark winter morning, it is said that the rabbi would get up early before everybody else. He would cross over the bridge and go into town, and he would stop off in a little prayer house and a place of study. He would go from one house of prayer to the other. And in a dark room, he would light a fire in the oven and he would stoke the flames. He would do it before he would continue on with his rounds to the next house of worship. Why did he do it? His closest friends would constantly ask him, and he would say, if all the prayer houses, if all the places of study, if they're warm early in the morning, then all the people who come in will get warm, and soon they'll find themselves in a truly sacred place. That's what a good rabbi does. Helps to make the synagogue a warm place, a refuge from the chilly indifference on the streets, the brutal competition in the marketplace, the casual cruelty of the playground, places where people are judged by how they look, how they perform, what they earn, and who they know. A good rabbi makes the synagogue a sanctuary, a holy place, a protected place where people can come in out of the cold, because it's the warmth that truly brings people in. The comfort of finding friends and feeling at home, the knowledge that within these very walls, within the places of Torah, a different ethic prevails. Here, we believe and that we must behave like a mensch. We treat each other with dignity and respect and compassion. And your new rabbi radiates that sense of care and affection that lie at the core of his being. He understands and lives the power of Rabbi Finkel's lesson, that first you have to let people get warm, and then they will turn to study and prayer and deeds of justice and begin to understand the true meaning of what makes a place holy. That's what your new rabbi teaches, to look at the mundane in this world and to see in it the potential for holiness. Ted Kennedy once famously said about his brother Robert, some people look at the world and they ask, why is it like this? And some people look beyond the world at the way it is, at the way that it should be, and they ask, why isn't it? And of the many ways that Rabbi K will lead you and ask, why isn't it? None will be more powerful than working in partnership with your staff and lay leadership to create a culture of excellence in all that he is and all that he does. Rabbi K will help improve your systems of communication, particularly for rabbis like me who barely know how to turn the computer on. He will take this congregation that already takes adult education seriously and continue to inspire you with soulful learning. He will make sure that Holy Blossom, that the tent remains large and open, creating space for LGBTQ families, interfaith families, for all who seek a spiritual home. This Shabbat, we read, as you know, the story of the great flood and a man named Noah, Ele Toldot Noach. We read in Torah that these are the generations of Noah, that Noah builds and he sustains. He hears God's challenges and responds, builder and sustainer, responder of the challenges of God's great command. And so I had every intention of coming here this morning to say, we see all of that in Rabbi K. But I know Noah, and you know Noah, and I want to assure you Rabbi K is no Noah. Noah's name means rest, and Rabbi K doesn't rest that often. He's constantly on the move. Sam K is no Noah because Noah's spouse is silent and nameless, and Taylor Baruchel is none of that. Rabbi K is no Noah because Noah builds the ark and hunkers down, safely protected, locked away from the storm, and your distinguished rabbi never hides from the storm, never hides from the challenges that come before him, including tackling one of the most difficult challenges in the United States, medical debt, which he single-handedly helped to change the face of in the state of Georgia. Rabbi K eschews the ark's cozy complacency for a commitment to Jewish engagement in the world, and he challenges us to make the same courageous choices every day. So Rabbi K is no Noah, but we, all of us now, all of us from the temple in Atlanta, and all of you from Holy Blossom Temple, we are all his toldot. We are all his generations. Not just his very proud family, but every single one of us and the gazillions of people back home who continue to cheer him on. Because centuries of Jewish commentators have emphasized that the word toldot doesn't refer simply to biological offspring. The word greatness refers to all that we generate, to all of our paths in the world. The chronicles we create with our word, with our song, and with our deed. The relationships we create with the people we touch, the souls we inspire. Ele toldot, we are now all the generations of Rabbi Samuel K. Long ago, our people formed a covenantal bond with God, a bond which today is the model for every partnership between rabbi and congregation. Today, Rabbi K seals that bond, and I pray that you will ever be mindful of your sacred responsibility to him. Rabbi K will wake up every day to nourish your soul, and you must be sure to nourish his. He will care for your spiritual and physical health, and you must always be concerned about his. He will give of himself to you and your families, and you must give to him and to Taylor and to Selah. Rabbi K will honor you every day as created in the image of God and treat you with dignity and kindness and the respect that such an image requires. So you must see him in the same divine image and treat him with gentleness and respect. Mazel Tov, Holy Blossom Temple. You have found one of the most outstanding rabbis. And Mazel Tov to my teacher and my friend, Rabbi K, on discovering this extraordinary spiritual home. May God bless you both on this great journey that now unfolds, and may your lives together fulfill all the promises that you make as we say, Amen. It's my honor now to invite Rabbi